Welcome to Grab Your Brew. My name is Leanne, and joining me today is my big sister, Jodie.
She's very excited.
Yes, we're going to tell you stories now. They're not long stories. We will elaborate if you guys want more information, but as of right now, we're going to give you brief clips of the creepy interactions we've had growing up in England. So today we're going to be talking about our childhood trauma of 221 Hanley Road. Now, growing up, we did not get along so well, so we both do have the same stories together and stories different. But this is my big sister Jodie, come to visit me from England, so I had to get a video in since she was only here for a week. But yeah, let's get into it. So 221 Hanley Road. When we moved in, I actually had a reoccurring nightmare from the day we moved in up until I moved out into my stepdad's house.
That's a whole other story.
That's a whole nother story. I did go vaguely into one of my other videos about that when he was showing me some of the recordings with the shadow people, so go ahead and check out that video. But how old was I when we moved in Hanley Road?
Oh, you were in Hamilton Junior School.
Yeah,
primary, wasn't it?
Hamilton's primary, yeah.
So you'd have been about 6?
About 6, yeah.
Yeah, 6.
So the layout of my house, of 221 Hanley Road, is when you come in the front door, you've got the upstairs stairs to your left, right. I don't know my left and right, but as soon as you walk in the front door, to the right is the stairs. To the left would have been my granddad's living room, and then it would have been a living room, like the family room after that, and then the alcove facing you would have been like a dining room / kitchen area. When you come upstairs, there's like a square, and then you turn, and then here would have been my granddad's room. Directly facing it was the bathroom. Next to the bathroom would have been our room, and then mum and dad's room there. And every night I would have this dream where I would come out of the room in my dream, and just, when someone's chasing you, I wouldn't know what was chasing me, but I would be running from something. And I would run out of the bedroom to the square top of the stairs, and I would jump from, because I'm terrified, right? I'm absolutely terrified. So I would jump from the top step, stumble on the bottom, messing up my shins, and then grab the front door. And as I open the door, this thing's gaining on me, and I would wake up. I still to this day don't know what was chasing me, but I had that dream, if not every night, at least every other night. For how long did we live there? I was 14.
Yeah, that's when you moved into Mark's house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So every night, and then the second night we moved into Mark's house, like, I had other dreams, but I did not have that same dream ever again after that.
It was a strange one as well, because you never felt alone in that house.
Never.
Ever. Like, I can remember being, shortly after first moving in, going into the bathroom to have a bath, and feeling the need to keep a towel wrapped around me while I'm undressing.
Yeah.
You just never felt alone.
Never.
But it was an unsettling feeling rather than...
No, keep in mind our mum was the only person that ever felt secure in that house, but she was also we collectively, I want to say, feel like they fed off of that energy.
Definitely, because our lives went to shit in that house.
Yeah, definitely. What was your first experience after moving in?
For me, it was more than never feeling like you're alone. So if you needed a drink in the night and you're wandering through the house, you're constantly looking over your shoulder thinking that somebody's there.
Yeah, almost like somebody is directly behind you like this.
Yeah, because we were always playing tricks on each other and winding each other up.
Yeah, definitely.
So, like how the bottom bunk was mine and the top yours, and you'd often just swing down and shock me, and I'd just crap myself.
I wouldn't say we had assigned bedding, because we would always argue top and bottom.
Well, yeah, because we once turned the bottom bunk with sheets into a separate bedroom.
Yeah, and I had a Polly Pocket playhouse underneath the bed that was my light.
Oh, it was the Barbie pop-up and playhouse
Oh,
from
sorry.
the 90s.
It wasn't Polly Pocket, it was Barbie.
Yeah.
Product placement. We're showing our age right now.
I know you can't get them anymore.
No.
Only on eBay.
But one joint experience I do want to share, and I'll tell you another one. I think George was there for the other one, so she might be able to clarify. But we were both laying in bed, and this day I was sleeping on the bottom bunk bed, and Jodie was on the top. And keep in mind, I want to elaborate this, that none of us were asleep at this time. No, like, we'd only been in bed like, what, half hour?
Yeah, we'd been squabbling because the light was a big pull string.
Yeah.
And I, at that point, wanted the top bunk to stop you randomly turning the light on, but you kept sliding your arm.
I've always been scared of the dark. I have no shame. I am 30 plus years shipping and handling, and I am still scared of the dark.
I like that, shipping and handling.
Yeah. I refuse to tell my real age. But the way now what I want to tell you is the layout of the bedroom. Now, our bunk beds were on the wall over here, and it led to the bedroom door. But our feet would be towards the door, and then across this way of us, because the window would be behind us. And we didn't have built-in closets. We had what we call wardrobes in England, where they're like, it's the best way to describe it.
These were built into alcoves, so it was the alcove.
Yeah.
And then doors across it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
using the alcove as the wardrobe.
Did we have drawers underneath them? I don't think we did we?
No, not
okay.
that I can remember.
So, did we have the telly on top of the
top of the wardrobe that didn't go as high?
Yeah, so that would have been this one, right?
Does that fall on your head?
Yeah, the TV. If you ever want to know why I'm crazy, TV fell on my head. And I don't mean like these modern day flat screen TVs, I mean the big fat back boys. But it was on top of the wardrobe here. So, and that's important for this part of the story. We saw, it wasn't so much as an outline the first time I saw it. I just saw something come through the bedroom door.
Like a small person.
Yeah, and then it's kind of like scudded across the living room, scudded across the bedroom, like diagonally to this wardrobe.
That's when you dove into my bed.
I remember I was just laying there with the covers up, because the best way I can do it is, would you say Smeagol, where it crouches down?
Yeah.
Like it crouched down.
Sort of walked. It didn't lift up off the floor.
Yeah,
but
it didn't
used
lift
hands to.
It used its hands to climb up on top of the wardrobe, and then it kind of leaned down like Smeagol, and its shoulders came up. And I just remember at this point, I'm like this with the covers, and I go, Jodie?
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm seeing something here.
I was like, do you see that? She's like, yeah, do you want to go to my bed? I was like, yeah.
Best way to explain it is it looked like the figure was reaching for something.
Yeah.
But we didn't investigate that till it was daylight again. But do you remember what we found? I do.
I don't know. I think
it was a wooden handled knife of Nanny's.
What was I even doing on our wardrobe?
I don't know, because neither of us could reach it. We had to pile things to get up, and I think you ended up stood on my shoulders, you know, a bit of tweedledee-tweedledum.
I promise you we had more balance back then.
Maybe.
A little bit. We can't promise you. We pretended we did. But it's crazy.
But
how did Nanny's knife end up on top of our wardrobe?
I can't think of any explanation.
And what with this little gremlin looking thing? Because that's what it looks like at this day and age. Like after I did the video placement, watched the Fairy Fae video, but it looked like a the house. I'm trying to think of the name of it now. I'm going to blank out. I'll put the name here in the words, but it's like a folklore. If it's like a house,
Bit like in Harry Potter, they have house elves. It's something
Yeah,
that
it's
lives
like
in the
that.
house.
Yeah. But it was like a little bit bigger than the.
Well, it looked like a small person. I can't remember. I don't remember.
It didn't move human, that's for sure.
No, I don't recall it having features or anything. It was
And
more.
the way I moved it, I don't know if you agree, but it's kind of like, you know, when you see something move like vibration really, really fast. I felt like the outline of it was like
it's struggling to stay.
Like it's struggling to keep its form.
Yeah. Because I remember us talking to Mum about it, and her theory was, with it looking like a short person, that maybe it was Nanny, but it was the uneasiness. I feel like
We
if it
wouldn't
was
have
Nanny,
felt uneasy if it was Nanny.
No. It was a very negative house.
She tried to tell me it was the dog.
Walking on two legs.
We had boxer dogs. I don't think the boxer's going to crawl up the closet.
No, they'd just jump in the bed.
No.
But yeah, it was just a very negative house. Neither of us liked to be alone in the house, did we?
No, never. I remember this, right, so Jodie wasn't there. She'd been home getting stuff, and then she left with a boyfriend. And her best friend Jordan was dating, because we're from Stoke-on-Trent, but she was dating a lad from Manchester, and her mum would not let him stay over for valid reasons, so they would all come to our house.
Apologies if Deb sees this.
Sorry. Oops. We're grown now. But our living room was concrete floors, I want to say. Concrete floors in the living room.
No, because if you remember, we had that really creepy cellar, but it was on the outside.
Well,
this
is
through a
the part.
hatch. And
Don't go too far into it, because that's what I'm about to tell.
Ooh.
I'm going to cut that. So during this time, we had a power outage. And keep in mind, it's like when you walk into, I know I keep giving you a layout, but I want you to visualize this. So let's say this is the door where I'm standing. Here would be, was it a love seat or a chair?
As you walk,
it was either a big chair or a love seat. And then on this
armchair.
wall was a settee or sofa, whatever you want to call it. And the tally TV was in this corner in the alcove, and the computer would be in this alcove.
Yeah.
And we had 2 boxer dogs and a Yorkshire Terrier at the time. They never felt comfortable.
We had quite a menagerie, didn't we?
Yeah.
Chipmunks, rabbits,
budgies,
fish,
cockatiels,
cats.
Yeah.
Tosh and Pepsi.
But remember when Daniel got out the cage? Was it Daniel? Was it a different one? I said it was Daniel. Mum said it wasn't Daniel.
It was Lisa, the hamster
that we found underneath the sink eating the cat food.
No.
So we had a power outage, so we actually had candles at the time. Now, sitting in the love seat on this side was Jordan and Chris.
Gary.
No, Gary was sitting next to me.
Sorry.
It was my mom, me, and Gary. And all of a sudden, now keep in mind, it wasn't windy outside, and I do want you also know that underneath there was a weird cellar place, but it wasn't like you couldn't walk in it, you would have to crawl in it.
Yeah.
It was probably this big. It was like a square.
I'd say it was about 3 feet. It was bigger than it seemed, but it didn't have a proper door. It was just like a slat of wood.
Yeah.
Fixed into
And
place.
in there was just like really long ladders. Like that's all we ever saw. But the carpets in the house would lift up.
Just that one room.
Just that one room, and there would be no. It wouldn't be like, you know, like here in America, you get like stormy winds, and you do get stormy winds in England, but not enough to lift our carpet from the inside.
I also remember, we had a big window in that room, but while the carpet was lifting, the window had sort of looked like there was a harsh wind coming at it, but it was double glazed.
Yeah.
It shouldn't have bowed at all.
I'm trying to think of the American translation to that. It was double panelled glass, for sure. but it would look like it was almost like there was a pressure against it.
Yeah.
And that was one experience. The carpets were lifting up, and it would sound like somebody was walking upstairs. We were all in the back living room.
Horrible. Yeah.
We could always hear walking upstairs. And then there was but it's not like just one of us saw it. Everybody saw this, and everybody was freaked out by it, because it literally like as if something was. Sometimes it would lift to where it's reasonable. It would just be like, but this time it looked like there was something under, like penny size.
Yeah.
Not like a penny, our dog Penny, which was a little Yorkshire Terrier. Yeah, it bowed. It looked like something was moving under. And oh my gosh.
Like at the time, Mum tried to say it was strong wind blowing into the cellar cavity,
but looking like something under the carpet.
But I don't recall. I may be wrong, but I don't recall it being stormy or anything.
No, it wasn't.
So that was a bit freaky.
Yeah.
Going back to the footsteps, our stepdad one day was in the living room and he heard someone going up the stairs. He thought it was our mum. So we walked out to the living room, down the hallway. The stairs were in front of the front door, and called up for her. But then she walked in through the front door and there was nobody else in the house. No.
Yeah, that leads to another. Keep in mind, at the time when we met Mark, our stepdad, he was very skeptical. Like, he would literally watch haunting shows just to make fun of them. And my mum would be like, why are you watching them? If you're just going to make fun of them.
I wouldn't say skeptical. He just likes to
rule
out
proof.
Sensible things first.
Yeah.
So he can say, yes, that is real.
But I remember walking in the front door, and my mom was yelling at me, turn that fucking music down. And keep in mind, I just walked through the door from working from home, so I didn't have no music on. And the scary thing about it is the song that she said was playing full blast was in a CD, again, showing our age. Shh, MP3. But the CD was in the window downstairs, and the CD player was upstairs on her wardrobe with no plug on it, because she took the plug off of it to put it on the laptop, the views.
Yeah.
But that song,
leads, weren't they?
it was Westlife, Seasons in the Sun.
Westlife?
Yeah, Seasons in the Sun. We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. Let me stop singing before I get copyrighted. But yeah, it was Seasons in the Sun. And I don't know if I'm telling this story right, because it was told by Mom. But she told me at the time Mark was a skeptic, but me and my mum went to the corner shop, which was 8 doors down.
Yeah, the co-op.
Yeah, 8 houses down to the corner store. And we were walking back. When we came in the door, she said that Mark told her that he could hear music, but he couldn't pinpoint where the music was coming from. But it wasn't our time, even that time's music. It was like the old, I can't remember the name off the top of my head.
Sound.
Where it's like got the cone looking thing.
Yeah,
that's what he was saying it was. But again, that was told by my mom to me, so I don't know the full details of the story.
And there was nothing like that in our house, because Mum loves all things modern.
Yeah. I would say some of our most traumatic experiences happened in that house. We can't recall everything at the top of our head, but we are going to do a segment together anyway, so you're bound to hear more stories as we go along. Of course, we can't fit everything into one video, otherwise it'd be like a 5-hour video. So we're just going to do like highlights at the minute, but we will go into other videos. So if you want more of these videos, and if you want more details, just comment below details and we will go more into it. Of course, she'll be back in England by then, so we'll be doing more of a Riverside podcast upload. But yeah, so that was our most traumatic, but we did, well, most traumatic living situation. I wouldn't say most traumatic
It was just an intensely
because the Malali
negative
thing messed you up too. But we're going to tell Malali another time. But I would say that, I guess you could say we're sensitive, or either that or something definitely follows us, because moving on from Hanley Road, we're going to talk about the first place you moved to. Was it the first place you moved to?
No, I lived in a shared student house briefly, but then before having my eldest, I did live in a terrace, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
Which was a bit peculiar, but for me, it was just one area of the house, but you felt it in a different area.
Yeah.
For me, it was British terraced houses usually have one or two reception rooms, and so one leads into the other. Then you've normally got a separate area where the stairs are, and then it has a galley kitchen, a long, narrow, and then the bathroom is at the end of that. But in this house, you'd go through the galley kitchen, then there was like an area that originally had a big old water tank that had been removed, so it was just a cupboard, and then the bathroom. And if you were sat in the bathroom having a bath, loo, whatever, you would hear footsteps in that middle bit, and it was only ever that middle bit, which was only about 4 feet in length, but there was never anything there. But you were always expecting to see something swinging. It was just a bizarre sensation. Never saw anything. So yeah, just never saw anything. But it was the feeling.
The
it was
feeling
quite
of something
intense.
was there.
Yeah.
Isn't it weird that you can just feel something there, like, but not see nothing? It's like your brain knows something should be there.
Yeah.
Like a veil lifting, that you're not supposed to see them there, but the veil lifted, you would fully see an apparition going, "What's up, mate?"
Yeah. But something to bear in mind in England is that the properties are far older.
Yeah.
Far older.
Because the structures are built to last longer, because, we don't get hurricanes and stuff, so you don't have to worry about rebuilding.
I mean, some of them are many centuries old. But I remember viewing a house before moving into the house I've just talked about, with a view to buying, and our mum came with us. It was around from mum's house on their estate, and it seemed quite cheap for a 3-bed semi. The pictures were great, but we opened the front door, we both walked in, and there was just this overwhelming negativity. I felt physically sick, and I walked out. I was like, I don't care what the price is, I'm not even going to look around there.
Yeah, I remember the house that she was talking about, not the one she was viewing, the one she lived in. Because this is the one where you had just a square, right? There wasn't a hallway, it was just a square.
Yeah, the front door went into the living room, which led into another living room.
Because I'm thinking about the upstairs now.
Oh, yeah.
Because I remember I would always skip the middle step. I don't know what it was about the middle step, but it had
it was like a recessed step, and then you stepped up into each room from that step.
So you'd be stepping down from one bedroom, it'd be the square that stairs down this way, and then you would go up into the other bedroom.
Yeah.
And I would remember, because my nephew was in this bedroom, you were in this bedroom.
Yeah.
Because I remember I would never want to, I don't know why, I have no logical explanation, but I never wanted to touch that step. I would literally hop from one to the other. But when I was in that room, it just, if you watch the Conjuring movies, you've watched them all?
Yeah.
You know the one that's in England with the old man sitting in the chair?
That's a good series based on The Haunting of Enfield.
Yeah.
Yes.
So imagine that, like, even, obviously, I'd never saw it physically, but it was like, in my head, it was like a chair like that with an old man sitting there smoking. I always smelled, and don't get me wrong, I was a smoker back then, and my mum was a chain smoker, but Jodie never smoked. So our house, you can tell when you've been around somebody who doesn't smoke, and then you spend time with somebody who does smoke. Yeah. It's very strong. And I remember it'd be like, just regular air freshener smell. And I didn't even want my nephew to be in that room. No. Because it would be like whiffs of like, and it's like I would just feel someone sitting there just sneering at me. Like they did not want me in the room.
See, I never got that in that room, but I didn't spend a great deal of time. For me, it was that downstairs.
Maybe you just didn't like me.
It's you.
It's like, fuck this bitch.
It's like, what's she doing here?
Right, she don't live here. She's not paying no bills.
But I do remember we were chatting in my room, and you were staying. I think you were staying in with Matty because I had a futon. And instead of touching that step, I remember you taking a running jump from my room, hopping as fast as you could over that middle bit, and then
that's why
running
you giggled when I said it.
to jump onto the futon bed that I'd pulled out because you didn't want to put your feet on the floor near it.
Now this is before I knew about the game, The Floor is Lava. But imagine as if I'm playing the game, The Floor is Lava, without intentionally playing it. That was my movements, basically. I just felt like it was just embedded in the wall and the floor. It was just like unnatural. Yeah. Then again, what is fucking natural, right?
That's when my reoccurring dreams started. I even had it when I was staying in a hotel in York. And I've had the same in various different houses.
Maybe something followed you from the hotel?
Well, even Joe said before, I've woken
We need to investigate this, Spooky Boo. I'm going to tag you for this. We need you to investigate.
Apparently, because I do crazy things in my sleep. And I've woken people up before jumping on the bed, like physically, that far from my husband's head, screaming that children are trying to grab my ankles. And I've done that for so long, and I was in York.
Like the black-eyed kids?
Yeah, and we were staying in a hotel in York with one of my friends ages ago. And it was a small hotel, and I'd done the same, woken up screaming. And we went down for breakfast the next morning, and they were going, "Oh, did you hear that poor girl in the street? I hope she didn't get murdered." And I'm like, I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry I didn't get murdered. I was just sleeping.
But I did have little bruises on my leg, but...
Could hurt yourself when you're sleeping.
Yeah, it could be psychosomatic. These things
you
happen.
Felt the pain and you instantly went to small kids grabbing your ankles, because that's where most people go.
Well, who doesn't dream about weird children grabbing their ankles? I mean, that's totally normal.
Yeah, that reminds me of an incident at 221 Hanley Road, actually. And this is back. This may have been, because all the other stuff we talked about, we had multiple witnesses. This was a self-experience, and it may have been because growing up, I suffered with cystitis a lot.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to bed with cystitis, but I remember waking up with that same feeling, which is like a UTI. My kidneys were basically messed up from this. It's like a reoccurring thing. You don't just get it and all of a sudden your kidneys are messed up. It's like a gradual decline. But I remember laying there, and when you wake up and you're so thirsty that your tongue feels like sandpaper.
Yeah.
And at this point I had the captain's bed. Now in England, a captain's bed, I don't remember what it's called in this country, but it had like a desk and a wardrobe underneath and steps that went up to essentially like a second bunk.
That wardrobe.
Oh man, I got a story about that wardrobe after I'm gonna put a pin into that. That's not ghost related. That's just gonna show what kind of person I was.
You were a dick.
I was a dick.
I say this with love.
But I was sitting there. I was laying there. I woke up, and I know I was awake because I was like. And I like she said, nobody wanted to go downstairs to get a drink because it felt like somebody was watching, because we didn't drink bottled water back then, because in England you can drink tap water.
Yeah.
But I would have had to go downstairs to get a cup. And that's when I started feeling the urge. But I went to get up, and I remember I was laying flat. And imagine me flat when I do this, but I went to get up and it felt like something had its hand on my chest. I didn't have boobies back then. It was before periods. It pushed me down. It held me down. And I know it wasn't sleep paralysis because I'd already been awake for a good 10-15 minutes contemplating going downstairs to get a drink.
No, it's me who does the sleep paralysis.
And it felt like something was holding me. But it was holding me down. And I went to get it again. I want to reiterate, I was not asleep. I've been awake for a good while. And all of a sudden, and I had a similar, I didn't have the same experience, but it was very similar experience in Mark's house. Where in Mark's house, it was more of like I didn't feel unsafe, but I was in the middle of a dinner party. I talked about that on the Shadow Walker video. Not Shadow Walker, Hatman video. But this one was scarier. I felt intense threat. And it felt like if you look forward.
Yeah.
So this is me, imagine laying down, but it felt like something was like this. And while that was going on, it was like hands. And keep in mind, I told you I was very thirsty, and it was like it was holding a cup of water. Yeah. And the cup was on my desk, my computer desk, but it was empty. But that's what I was contemplating to go fill up. And I was like, should I go in the bathroom? But the bathroom water doesn't taste the same. So I've got to go downstairs. That's how I knew I was awake. But it was holding like multiple hands, passing this glass up. And the room stunk. Absolutely stunk. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little kid, so I don't care. But I peed on myself that day.
See, I don't remember that story because there was just so many incidents.
That was when I very first got the captain's bed.
Ranging from general discomfort.
But you weren't living there then? No?
I left when I turned 16, didn't I?
Because at this point I'd moved into my granddad's bedroom because my granddad had passed away, rest in peace. But non-ghost related, let me tell you the story about the captain's bed. So I would skip school a lot as a kid. And my partner in crime was Sharon. Hey Sharon, sorry to tell you business.
Trouble.
But we skipped. This is how pathetic it was. This is how much we did not want to go to school. So we skipped school. And when we knew my mum was going to be home, we'd climbed in the back door in the carport to go in the back door. And we literally... Captain's bed this way, right? Behind the back of the closet, there was a gap like this big. Now, keep in mind, I was much skinnier back then, and so was Sharon. We were skinny minis, but we were literally sitting behind the panel of the wardrobe underneath the captain's bed for 6 hours. So nobody would catch us skipping school.
Was it me that found you? I remember shouting.
Not this particular time, because what we would do, you did find us one time, but most of the time we would wait till we hear my mum come in and go in her room, sneak downstairs, go outside the back door, go through the carport, climb over the trash bags, and then come back through the front door half an hour later. Like we'd just got in from school.
I remember Sharon saying she was more afraid of me catching you both than Mum.
Clothes, it makes more sense now after knowing that Hanley Road was actually part of the coal mine. It was built on top because I don't remember the specific words, but I can remember that somebody was coming around talking about like certain insurances.
I do
with our houses.
They had to move part of the cemetery, so I suspected that was it, but coal mines makes more sense.
Yeah, they were built on top of the coal mines.
Ooh.
So we got all kinds of goodies with that one.
There have been some positives. I became a single mother when my eldest, who's now 20, was 1. And we moved into this house, just the two of us. I loved the house. And the first night I can remember feeling weirded out, and I'd been completely alone, and I was rather young. I was 19.
Were you 19? I thought
I was 19, yeah.
If you was 1,
yeah, I was
didn't you have him at 16?
No, I got married at 16.
Married at 16. So, yeah, 19.
And I was lying in bed, foolishly watching, I think it's a Japanese horror called Audition.
We're gluttons for punishment.
And I just remember at some point falling asleep, unsteady and just feeling off. It was the first time being completely alone. And I woke up feeling like I was being cuddled and it felt
Yeah.
so lovely and warm and safe. And then it occurred to me there was nothing there, no one else in the house. And then the moment I put my arm out to sort of try and keep hold of this feeling,
Yeah.
it was gone again. And it never happened again, but it's as if, say, someone was saying, you know, it's going to be okay.
It's okay. Do you think that was something in the house, or do you think that was like Nanny or Granddad?
No, because I like to think that once you've moved on and you're at peace, that's it for them.
Yeah.
No more bringing them back for trauma. That's just my personal belief. Everybody has different.
So I don't think it's more trauma as much as
It was just very comforting.
giving us what we like. They watch us, and indifferent, because of course they don't. It's a whole other discussion. We'll just cut that part out.
In the same house where I first lived with, when it was just me and Matty, there was another experience. It was never negative. So I used to like putting my earphones in when he was in bed, and I'd because I had a large living room that led into a large kitchen. So I used to sort of either dance around or wander through in a loop sort of thing, listening to my music in my own little world. And there's always a certain point of the day where I'd walk past the sofa and there was like a gap because I had an understairs storage there,
Yeah.
if you remember. And just out the corner of my eye, it'd be as if someone was crouching at the side. Nothing negative, no sinister feeling whatsoever. And I can remember
Like a kid
ringing Mum.
hiding.
No, it was an adult. I remember long limbs, and that's all I remember. It's just one of those quick events, especially in old houses like in England.
They've been around, because in America, a house is only historical after 100 years.
And there's not many of them, whereas there is.
That's the norm, to have a house over 100 years old in England.
Yeah, but one of
That's
the villages.
considered newer.
Yeah, one of the villages I lived in Lancashire, the church was 1400 and something. So that's and that's not even
That's
the
a real
oldest.
historical building, guys.
Yeah, so there was a monument in the middle of the village saying first town in whatever area.
That vicinity.
Yeah, it was a big stone monument. And I can remember ringing Mum saying, I think there's something in my house, but it don't feel bad. And she's like, talk to it. But I felt that silly. But it was always.
You're not supposed to talk to it. Rule number 1. Don't engage.
But yeah, it's not always a negative thing. Sometimes it's just a warm feeling. Like, I'm not a fan of new build houses because they feel barren to me. When I walk in a building,
there's no life in the walls.
No, because it's not been lived in. I would buy a house more by how it made me feel.
Because there's no residual energy in there, that's why.
Yeah.
Because people mistake residual energy with ghosts, where it's more of residual energy, because we're all made of energy. It's more of like as if a past memory is lingering in the house.
I mean, it's fact that we leave energy imprint everywhere.
Yeah.
Energy doesn't die, it just transfers.
That was this week's episode of Grab Your Brew. Next week we will be having the 27 club that everybody's dying to get in, but nobody gets out. So go ahead and like and subscribe and join me next week, and hopefully we'll have more videos of my sister, which will be via via the Riverside podcast app once she goes back home. But thank you for joining us, guys. I hope you have an amazing week. Please like and subscribe.